So, but this first that we'll start the activity, the dialogue, that's the discussions. The intention is to have it as a day discussion. We have our resource persons, our experts in those areas. But before I at least dwell more on the details of the activity, I'll allow Mr. Conte to give us a welcoming statement as far as we were at that place that we have to at least transfer to this place. This is their venue. They have to welcome us, then we start the activity in progress.
Yes, thank you so much. It's still in the morning. Good morning to you all. Good morning. You know that my face is family, some of you. My name is Kim Munjai, one of the Performance here based here. I'm here on behalf of the community itself, not just one person that's on it. You are welcome, highly welcome to this place. It belongs to the community, it belongs to you, and this is the New Town Skills Center. In case you didn't know, they wanted to launch this program at the community center, but they found that it is not conducive. Okay, very bad. So they decided to come here and then have this program with you, and you people are highly welcome. Yeah, and I think what they're supposed to discuss today is very important under the National Youth Council, and they're discussing about community dialogue on preventing sexual exploitation of children in the context of cyber and foreign. Okay, so I want all of us to listen attentively, learn from these things, and also explore and share what we learn from here within our community and within the country at large. Okay, so without due further, I will introduce the panel and those hosting the program and everyone that you are highly welcome in the program. I think it will last from 12 to 4.
Yeah.
Yes, and then there will be lunch, and then there will be there's already breakfast for the lunch, and then transport reform. Okay, so thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Kondo, for welcoming us to this important event. First of all, I think I would like to, as far as we are welcome, introduce my team. We are from the National Youth Council, responsible for coordination and supervision of all youth activities in the country, and also advising the government through the Ministry of Youth and Sports on youth-related matters. So with my team today, I am Omar Ba, the Peace, Security and Justice Officer at the National Youth Council. With me, Maria Wasima is the Advocacy and Communication Officer at the National Youth Council. And also we have our other interns from the university, Albert Lopi, we have Ismail Alou, and also Aji Kumba Drame, youth. So those are our vibrant people who are assisting us at the office. And our able resource persons, the lead resource person is Lamin Fati from the Child Protection Alliance. Is the national coordinator. We all know, I think we all know what Child Protection Alliance does around children and other things that at least we are doing, related things to children. So he is here at least to inform, engage and educate you on child protection issues in the context of tourism and also the legal frameworks around children issues. So Mr. Fati, you are welcome. Can you put our hands together for him? Or are you hungry? Young people always should be energetic, right? From Mr. Fati, I'll also introduce our able officer from the Gambia Police Force, Mrs. Sonko. He is also representing the Gambia Police Force, working around the tourism in the industrial area. They are the one overseeing all those issues that are affecting around that area. So she is also here at least to interact with us to discuss on pertinent things that are happening within the tourism industrial area. So thank you, Ma. You are also welcome. Let's put our hands together for her. So from her, I would like to also welcome our able resource person from the Gambia Tourism Board, GT Board. We know if you talk about CPA, you talk about the Gambia Police Force, and you are discussing issues around tourism, you need to involve GT Board. So Mr. Sekan, also Babukar Sekan from the GT Board, Gambia Tourism Board also is welcome, and he'll be here to have a lot of discussions with you around what is happening within the tourism industrial area. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Sekan. So we'll be here for the next 3, 4 or 5 hours. There will be presentations, question and answers, and engagements. We want the discussions to be more interactive. We don't want resource persons to come and just present. At the end, you keep muted. So we want you to ask questions, pertinent questions. Let's clarify everything. And from here, we want you to serve as ambassadors because we invited the adolescent neighborhood network group. So if they are here, there are structures that are established by CPA and other partners. So we want to have those type of structures within our communities so that they can also leverage on the information that we are discussing here today. That is the essence of us having community dialogues. If you are giving feedback, there's no need for us to have this type of engagements with you guys. So it's important whenever we go back, let's have this discussion, let's disseminate the information as much as possible to ensure that we create impact. So on that note, I would like to thank all of you. And I would like to allow or call on Mr. Fati to just give the opening statement, then we go proper to the presentation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ba, who happens to be my in-law. And my task is very simple. When you ask to open, what do you do? Do you close or you open? When you ask to open, what do you do? When you are asked to open, what do you do? You open, Yes. Okay, so do I say the workshop is open? All right. So I think on a very serious note, I want to take this singular honor to give a statement before I actually get into my presentation. This is not only specific or peculiar to only Bakau as a community, but this is a Gambian problem. It's a national problem when we talk about issue of sex tourism in the Gambia. I know we want to make a distinction of what do we mean when we said child sex, children being sexually exploited in the tourism sector, and when we also call a country being child sex tourism destination. And that doesn't tell good to our country. And I think we need to recognize the funders who are actually behind this activity, which is UNICEF, that supported the crusade through the National Youth Council, so that we are able to reach out to young people and talk to young people. Because at the end of the day, in the economic stand, they will say, what? Your age group are called what? The active age. Right? You are either, when you are active, you are either a victim or either you are also what? A factor that could promote change. You can be a catalyst of change, you can be a catalyst of destruction. Right? It's the other way of the coin. Right? But we don't want to see a catalyst of what? Destruction. We want you to be what? Catalyst of change. And change cannot only be when you have that individualistic nature in you. Right? When you want to say that I'm an individual, I don't care about what is happening, it doesn't affect me, you don't make an impact. And I also believe that no matter what education you have, whether you have masters, whether you have whatever PhD degrees you have, if you cannot make an impact in society, your education is baseless. So this education is not an education to discuss with you so that at the end of the day you know this information and you feel like then I know it and that's all. No. The moment you know it from here and you fail to talk to 1 or 2, 3 people about it, your attendance for today is useless, it's baseless. And you know why? You know what is the worst part of it? You have wasted national resources. That could have saved the life of a person at the hospital, that could have contributed towards building roads and hospital, but we thought that what? Education is power. But education is only power when you utilize education to make a positive impact. So on that note, I'm not going to talk too much on the opening statement, but I only say, yes, it's not a training. It's not a training, it's not lecturing. It's going to be a day conversation. Conversation in the sense that whatever you talk about, you must have heard about it. You must have seen it. But do you know what to do? Some will know what to do, some wouldn't know what to do. But our responsibility for the day here is what? To ensure that we all know what to do and how to do it. So on that note, I want to say the conversation is open. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marty, for that. Now I will also appeal to you all to have 3 minutes. Let's just mind as quickly as possible that we move forward by then before the close the fix will come back and start. Is that okay?
Mind the order. Man na karandi order. Loma jangale. Dama ñew pour ñu waxtaan So good. Te waxtaan bi tay lan la? How many of you can remember? Don't eat our bread and forget what we are coming to do. What is our discussion today? Huh? Sex what? Some says sex tourism, some says exploitation. Exploitation on what? In tourism. Good. So sex exploitation is tourism. What is your understanding? So to clear Adam Senegal, you know, Haitian Deka Muhammad, Deka Bolu, tourism Sunyorek, Lili Akale, Jensen Figure, sex tourism Deka Faneka. What would be your understanding of sex tourism involving children? I told you that me, I'm not lecturing you today. You are turning, huh? Let's walk on. Aja Kacha, yes.
From my understanding about sex tourism, okay, the tourism at night. Some tourists come to the Gambia for expenditures like experiments, but some does come for only sex exploitation normally for the children. You know?
Okay.
So you will see some tourists, they will come here just to have sex.
Okay.
That will be their main target of coming to the Gambia.
Okay.
From what I understand,
yes,
is tourists do come here only for sex, to have this young students or young children to hang out with and then go back to their house.
Good contribution. Good contribution. So let's digest from what she said. That sex tourism means tourists coming to the Gambia, right? Other comes for, well, basically most of the time they come for holidays and to have a leisure, to enjoy. But others already have that mindset that when I come to Gambia, I am going for what we call holiday romance. You know what is holiday romance?
Yeah.
I'm going because, you know, Gambia, when you go there, we have children that we can easily have access to. Right? So when the key word here is, he said, tourists. Huh? Who is a tourist? The one tourist or the, I know everybody knows who is tourist in Macau. I mean, who is tourist?
Someone that comes to visit.
Someone that comes to? From another country, huh? For the purpose of? Right? Exploration, for excitement, for whatever, right? But also too, when you look at the set of tourists that comes here, the visitors that comes here, that you feel. I am asked to blend it, huh? My boss asked me to blend it in Mandinka, Wolof, and in English. So my energy is very high at the moment, but it's very slow. I'll go back to English.
Not even your boss actually needs to do it. So.
I should do it. Alright. So when you look at this pattern of people coming to the Gambia, right, they are different. Right? So but also to respect this thing, is tourist only a person that is a black or white rather? No. Tourist could be anyone who comes from one destination to another for visiting, for leisure, for other things, not so. But sexual exploitation becomes where the persons becomes what? Coming purposely to what? To explore sexually. Right? And also we have what we call the pedophilias, right? You know who's a pedophilia? You don't know who's a pedophilia? Huh? Yeah, someone? Good. You hear? She said a pedophilia is someone who has a preference of having sexual interrelations with what? Minors. But also to really look at some certain element, we have preference. The element of preference is what? Sometimes you have what we call situational preference. Situation will demand you to have access to that particular person. For example, in our communities, I know when we were all growing up, we used to have what we call pen friend. I don't know whether that is still happening. Baba, you remember when you go to school, you have a pen friend, you write to the pen friend, you exchange ideas, huh? Yeah. So the issue of having a right to buy friend or to buy a friend from another country was very high in our head. Because that was our mind orientation, not so. But again, when this person visits, because already we have created a relationship between us and them, and I think before we just start breakfast, we were having a discussion to say, you have somebody who adopted a girl, but the girl spent the weekend. So if the girl is going freely in and out of that house, what happened? There is what we call easy access. So it becomes what? Situational access. Right? The guy that goes and sells on the streets, selling banana, selling nana. What happens at the end of the day? People like Baba will be at the corner. If the nana is 50, if the banana is $50, you give that person 200, that's what happened. That $50 plus 50 compared to 200. Don't you think the lady will go for 200? And sometimes she's sexually engaged. And I had a witness. I had witness instances here where boys would use them, especially those who said this, how do you call it? This white thing. Bang. Yes? Down song. They go and give the down song $100. The guy will stay with them throughout the day, sexually being exploited. So situation demands that. But you have preference, don't you know? They don't want anything other than what? Minors. Ñoom seen yëpp dem na ñëw xale ñoom xale yu ndaw rek waaw ñoom soo luñ dara lu di xale yu ndaw right good. And also to when you look at Gambia, let's look at Gambia here. Gambia is the most known tourist destination for sexual exploitation in tourism, child sexual. And you know, for me, I try to beautify these languages. The international definition is not Gambia is known for child sexual exploitation in tourism. No. They define Gambia as what? Tourism destination for sexual exploitation of children. Some definition we call it even what? Paradise for sexual exploitation tourism. Some of you that are too okay with what is happening in 2019, 2020, what happens here? Gambia was classified as what? Paradise, safe haven for sex tourism. And you know, the media has even classified Gambia as what? There's a code the journalist wrote to say, parents are desperate. Look at what he puts. Parents are desperate for survival. They end up selling their children as less than £2 Is that not an insult? But that is the media definition of the Gambia. Right? And that's why it is important for us to discuss on this issue. What is typical for the Gambia is the fact that it is attractive to both male and female tourism. Again, you know, even us, development workers, right, child rights advocate, human rights advocate, you know what we talk about most of the time? We talk only about the girl child. We hardly talk about boys being sexually exploited. For me, sometimes I used to tell people, you know, I'm very comfortable if I see a young man with an old Tuba person before I even join the school share. I'm even comfortable to see, yes, a younger boy dating an old Tuba woman than an old woman Tuba man dating a young Gambian girl. But within the context now, both boys and girls are sexually exploited. And when we talk about the issue of sexual exploitation, mind me, it's not about men to women. It's about what? Men to men. We have seen boys being now sexually being molested or sexually assaulted or sexually abused by tourists in this country. You remember in 2010, yes, the person that was first arrested and prosecuted is a Norwegian, right? The youngest victim was how many years? 6-year-old boy. So the play am there. You know, she was sexual exploitation. Góor ak jigéen loolu léegi du góor ak jigéen de léegi si wax dañoo ne góor ak góor ak jigéen ak jigéen so su tubaab yi ñëwee fii not only tubaab su gan yi jógee seen dëkk ñëw Gambia fii xam nga jaxay tamit dina you see during the presentation you see where I talk about the online platform. And now that Gambia has gone to the extent where we have even online platform where children are participating on pornography. So we said the stakeholders generally do not see real problem in the fact that Gambian men, women are offering themselves for prostitution. Again, prostitution is something else. And I remember some time back when you looked at the issue of prostitution, come you again at them just saying Boba, right? Saying Boba, Tabo you batan and begin, Tabo Haji in the beginner, do you know? I 1 o'clock, I 12 o'clock to be in the beginner. Well, now it becomes what is normalized. That you go to Senegambia, you go to Kotu, you go to Kololi. I am telling you, the street is like, you see them line up. Yes, you see them line up. And most of the time when you look at them, they are all young people. And again also too, when I come to the legal framework, you will see whether it's right for Lamin Fati to use his money, his position, because I can go and pay a woman $200. I don't care about the regardless of her age. If she's 18 below, I have committed a crime, even though she's into what we call commercial sex. So when they come out, xale bu dem di génn guddi mo amagut 18 years mu dem ne moom fu mu nekk nii su génnee guddi balaa muy ñëw dina téye ay 10,000 bi nga 10,000 boobu fu mu ko jëlee rek ku mu tëddal rek kooku dafa yaxaluwaa su ñëwee si wàllu loi di ngeen ko gis ak yi fi consent. Certainly not in a male, yes, we don't mind, but you know we have male prostitutes, huh? You know that we have male prostitutes? How? Tell me. Namu tena how many go na baja ibopa? Oh yes. You don't know? Good. You don't know? No, that's happening in Gambia. No, that's happening in Gambia. We are seeing men who are particular. Their specialization is to what? To satisfy these white women when they come here sexually and they are paid. If you look at, there was a documentary on Gambia. Look at when you want to do such documentary on Gambia sex tourism, right? The person says he has been doing that extremely. When you go to the gym, all they do is to build their muscles. When they come, they say that they are paid. Only one of them got sick, seriously sick. So you know when these older women come here, you know what they look for? They don't look for skinny people like me. They look for people like Baba who are muscular up there. That's why most of the time you see them at the gym. You get some muscle too. When they come, that's what they want. So it's not only women who are doing prostitution, but men also are into prostitution. A complicating factor in the case of the Gambia, however, is the fact that there is a strong belief in a friendship factor. Friendship factor. And I know in this room, the what you know. Boys here, you live in the news here. You never read Facebook ladies, you don't do what I friendly you do or friendly go to Bob. Or you never see it. But tell me, can anyone in this room tell me you have never accepted a friendship request from a Tubab or from someone outside? Is there anyone in this room? So you see, so it means we all good, but okay, yes. All right, I will prove it before the end of the day. Before the end of the day, we prove it. So you see, I know the nature of Gambians, and I have said this earlier. Like since we are going to grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, that mentality of friendship has been in us, investigated in us. To say, you know what, when you know you have to get a friend, you have to get a right friend. And you know, to the extent that we think that yes, not so. But also too, because we believe in a friendship factor, it's a belief that we have. But this also involves in what? Having a tourist friend to the extent, and especially when you look at the coastal communities. I'm brought up in Bakawea. When we at young age, what do? We know all the hotels. We know the in and out of all the hotels from Cape Point down all the way to Senegambia end. Not so. Yeah. And what do? The tourism season. Some of us we become bombsters. The chantamans. You can see a person who cannot speak Mandinka properly, but the person can speak Italiano, can speak German, Dutch, can speak Spanish, and everything. That's all. I know there are times Baba used to be, they used to mock us. You know, they used to mock us to say, you know, Baba, when you go to Baba, you know what they will tell the Tubabs? Mother died, father died. I live with grandmother, grandma, I was nothing. Okay. Good. So that's our nature, right? We want to have friends with Tubab before coming. And not because when we look at the internet, the advance of the internet, the advancement in technology, now it makes the world quite easier. Before, we used to buy on what we call the middlemen, the bouncers to link them with ladies. But no, now it's simple. Of recent, I saw someone made a post that the person is coming to he said he's coming to Uganda next week, and he wants to have someone to spend time with. It's also a media platform. You know it or not, I'm certain, and he said he's loaded. I am certain some guys have privately sent a message. Yes. Right. So also to, as you said, some of our sis rightly said that some will purposely come for sex tourism to explore. I cannot imagine in 20 when I was working with the Bengal Observer, 2006. No, the Observer, 2006. A white man came to this country for a holiday of less than a month. This white person was able to sleep with 28 Gambian young girls.
And I knew another one.
28. And you know what they do? You know what happens? You know what happens? The health condition of this white person was not of the best. The person was not healthy. He was sick. 28 young Gambian girls in less than a month. What does that mean? 28 in a month. That means every day he must have slept with 1 or 2 or 1. And not some of them might not. He might have slept with them multiple times.
So I can give an example.
Yes.
Just told me that there was a white person who comes to Gambia. And the white person for 2 weeks, he has slept with 50 Gambian girls.
2 weeks, 15 hours.
In 2 weeks.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, and the person is having HIV.
So already you are telling me if 50 has slept with an HIV patient, take it in a week, right? Multiply that by another week, multiply that by another week. For sure those 50 have slept with other 50. HIV is gone. Right? Without protection. Right? So also to, as we said, if they come here, they come. I had an incident where the lady actually was communicating to a friend. You know what she said to a friend? That I'm coming to the Gambia for sex romance. Right? Roman tourism. Roman tourism, what does that mean? My entire is to explore the beautiful, not only the beautiful beaches of the Gambia, but the beautiful young girls who are easily and freely accessible. Right? Good. So we said also to when you look at the issue, also to within the tourism sector, there is what we call an element of trafficking. You know what is trafficking? Yes. What is trafficking? So you know what traffic? What is trafficking? Mulam ka fo ya mo most traffic le, huh? Yeah, hello. Yeah, my people. This is not the agreement, right? The agreement is that you eat our bread, you drink our canned drink, we have our bottle of water, and you have an agreement that you are coming to charge, not so. Right? So what is trafficking?
Trafficking.
Yes.
It's like abuse.
It's just like abuse,
Forcefully picking something without their consent.
Say it again.
Forcefully picking up something without their consent.
Forcefully picking something without their consent, okay?
Smuggling people from one place to another.
Or smuggling people from one place to another. Illegal movement of a person from one place to another. Okay, so basically when we talk about the issue of trafficking, right? Trafficking has elements. Right? The element would be you have to recruit the person, recruitment. Recruitment could be in a way where you try to engage the person, you load the person, you give the person wrong impression of what you want to do. But you can equally transport the person. But the entire purpose of trafficking is exploitation. Right? That's why when you go down to Senegambia, when you go to Kololi, and what do you see? You see now not Gambians, as much as Gambians are on the street for prostitution, but you see non-Gambians more, especially from Nigeria and Sierra Leone. When you look at how they were brought into the Gambia, it's simple. It's that they were recruited, they were given false promises that when you come to the Gambia, you have a better job. For them to come here and their documents are confiscated and they are put into exploitation. Exploitation simply means that you are put into something that you are not benefiting. ah comme ma jël la fii léegi wala am na fi Gambia. Gambia dañ jël fii ñëw nañ fii ñu jël xale yi Liban jigéen yi ñu recruter leen su ñëwee Libanon dañuy am liggéey bu baax what happened ñu dem ba Libanon ñu ne waaw boo leen lii yóbbu Libanon 50,000 laa fay waaw léegi Libanon ma jël sa document yi yëpp mooy da ngaa liggéey la sama 50,000 bi soo liggéey booy def mooy da ngaa jaay sa bopp. That's trafficking. That's also happening. But trafficking also too, you can also have other people also too who come from another part of the country also. It can even happen here in the Gambia. If you go to Basse, you recruit somebody there, you bring that person here, you start exploiting that person here. It's an element of what? Trafficking. So trafficking is really different from smuggling. Smuggling is only to facilitate someone movement from a country of non-origin. Like, I mean, if I want to travel now, those going to the back way, they are not traffic. They are only smuggled because the who owns the boat is just to facilitate their movement to Spain and let them go find their way. That is smuggling. And unfortunately, Gambia did not have a law that will penalize anybody for smuggling. But smuggling can also change into trafficking. The moment I agree with Baba that I'm going to take you to Spain, and we reach into Spain, and I said, Baba, you're supposed to pay me 50,000. But now I will have to take all your document and you work till you have 200,000 and then you become a free man. Then Baba is that smuggling has changed to trafficking. Right? So the Gambia is a source of transit destination country. It's not even it's a source, it's an origin. That someone is a source here because when you come here you can easily mobilize young guys. I'm telling you, I only hope some of you will not be a victim. The Arabs come here, they say we are going to take you to Kuwait and everybody start applying. And I think there's this crucial shit. Huh? How many people, I know some of you have applied. That you want to go and board the ship to go and work. How many of you have applied? Or how many of you have had the information? And when you heard about the information, what happened? Is already made to America, to Europe. So you apply, right? So you can say they can easily take you as a source, but also it could also serve as what? A transit. Transit simply means if you are going to Senegal, for example, where do you go? You are from the other part of the other regions, you come to Gambia, or you might even come to Gambia, you use our airport and they go. So it's a transit point. But equally also too is a destination point. Because most of these young guys that now you are seeing on the streets, you talk to them, they are being trafficked. But they are living in the Gambia as a destination. Right? For the purpose of what? Force and commercial sexual exploitation. Although child prostitutes are mostly Gambian children. Right? Who does not rule out the trafficking in the Gambia or vulnerable children from foreign countries by organized crime. You know what they call? They call syndicate. They are syndicate. They are organized. Those who traffic people, they are so sophisticated. They are well connected. Tell me in the Gambia, since you know yourself, how many prosecutions do we have? People that are trafficking people and they are prosecuted in this country successfully. They are well connected. They buy their ways in and out of the system. Yes, please. Yes.
Is there any law in the Gambia specifically designed to tackle trafficking?
Yes, we have the Trafficking in Person Act of 2007. Yes, but also too, the Children Act also have element of trafficking. This sex tourism also have an element of trafficking. But unfortunately, right, when you read through all these laws, you see that the application in terms of sentencing becomes totally different. Right? Yes, we have laws, but they are not consistent. Again, there is what we call total weak enforcement of laws in the country.
Because the reason why, as you mentioned,
yes,
there are no, in fact, I never heard of someone or people who are prosecuted and then they are caught in trafficking people.
Yeah.
I make a discussion. Some people are trafficked from Sierra Leone, Gambia, and then later most of them went to Mali. So, but then when those people were caught with trafficking, they were not prosecuted. Later they were released. That's the difference of
right. Yeah, so take note of the distinction. Smuggling is not trafficking. Right? If I have a boat, you want to go to Spain, you pay me. Right? And once you are about to board that thing,
No, it's not smuggling. Those people are coming to the Gambia.
And
They spend some time here as prostitutes. They are girls from Serbia.
okay, who put them into prostitution?
Those people, they normally call them madams. Normally,
Okay, yes. So that's trafficking. That's purely trafficking. Yes, they have their money. The moment is young guys, they will tell you, yes, she promised my parents that when I come here, I'll have a good job. You come here, you know what they do? They change their names. And they have books. Exercise book. You write every night the amount of money you have. If somebody can have 10,000 per night, how many men must that person have slept with? The government had any. Nit mu dem bena buddu rek bu ñew mu ci la 10,000 do la am buddu do ñata go na toyal that dafa ci gëna metti nak ci halis yoy yëpp ga di am ñom di ko ci ngëri mo dañu ñëw joko bind ko ci bu joko madam mu ne bu wala ne di Gambia fay na 500,000 do ko mëna wédi right. So you said also to assess. Someone want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something.
Yes.
From the inception of the discussion, we made mention of some parents who are telling their biological children
Yes.
that they sexual abuse.
Yes.
Never came across a victim of such.
Okay, he's asking that when I was opening this discussion, I asked some parents will actually encourage their children, biological children, to have an interaction with these visitors or these tourists. Where I have seen evidence. Every day I see evidence. And every day all of you have seen it. Every day. Tell me, how many of you in this room can raise your hand to say you never know a family who is having a white friend in Bagau? No? Right. Apart from Bagau, huh? Yes. So it means, because you know why this is important? You know why this is important? So that you and I don't see that as normal. Now, because the Tibets are normal in the hotels, those who I spend our young people are normal in the hotels. You know where they are? They live in our communities. They have apartments. You go to social media now, just click house rental Gambia. You will see series of houses furnished, and they are in our communities. When this Tuba comes, where do they go? They go into those apartments. And when you observe, what do you see? Every Tuba that go into a community knows that he has a relationship with the community. Most of them. The recent case we have in Bluefoot, this white guy is called Roy. Roy has specialized, he's a pedophilia. His specialization is only on children between the age of 14, 12, 13, 11. And he preach on these young guys. You know how he goes to the school. To the extent that God thinks, because a young person, so they are so naive. $10, $15 that they are giving you. Every morning you go into this white man person. This white man never had a date. It's no security. He's the only one living. I received an information about the prosecution of his case that was taking ages, has never been finalized. Why should they are investigating when I was trying to do a follow-up on that? Christmas, New Year's Eve. This New Year's Eve. That very night, a paramilitary officer called me to say a white person has been arrested for molesting children as young as two of them. They were sisters, 12 and 14 years of age. And when I asked about the name, it's weird. When I look at the test information that was sent me, it's the same person. And he lives in the community. And again also too, what makes even make it worse, most of these young guys that have been victimized are children that are in the petty trading. I spoke to a young girl just 2 weeks ago at Gimpex. You know, there's a scrapyard at the back. And I was chatting with her. When I said to her, but you have, we started chatting, and she was very smart. And I said, are you going to school? She said, no. I said, why? He said, well, my auntie promised that when I come here, I will go to school. But when I came, she asked me to go and sell groundnut. And I said, okay, what happened? She has children. He said, yes. When they close, they watch TV. I'm the only one on the street. I said, but what did your mother say about this? He said, you know, my mother would never trust me if I tell her this is what I'm going through. So that particular person means she has been trafficked by who? By the auntie. So it's happening, huh? And parents don't care because of the thing that is about poverty. And poverty is not a guarantee that you must be able to deprive the child of his or her fundamental human rights.
Okay, I want to add a few. I want to contribute.
Yes.
About the reasons why they are not taking them to hotels now.
Yes.
Because it comes to a point whereby it was understood that they are taking kids to the hotels. So it went to an extent that you have to bring your ID. So they could look at your age, your documents, and because also you have to pay for that person that you will put in that hotel for that time. So this is why most of them stop and start taking them to apartments.
So Saidykhan will do a presentation on what are the strategies they use in order to mitigate. Quite right. We also said unfortunately the role of the middlemen is often played out in the studies. The bombers are not only bombers. The bombers are what? They are the middlemen. And they are called what? They are the pimp. You know the pimp? The pimp are those who specialize in recruiting ladies for men. Or men for men. Or ladies for ladies. Now don't talk about only men and women. No. Men for men. Men for women. Women to women. That's what is happening. Right? So we have the middlemen who actually play a greater part. Because most often, these dumpsters will have a link, they will build relations when these people visit. Because sometimes the tour guys will even be team. Like if I go to a country, I'm coming with few dollars here, guys are everywhere. My first contact is who? Is that guide. And if I say, I want to have hot cakes. They call them language, the hot cakes. They know the in and out and they link the bombsers. You understand? So be careful. If you are a bombser, be careful and you look at what the law put in place for your activities. So also to really look at the issue of where often do you see all these problems? Where do you see most of these exploitations? Where? At the restaurants, the hotels, the motels, the nightclubs, and even the beach side. Good. But when you look at this, when you go to the bar and restaurants, when you go to the nightclubs in the Gambia, also play a part in facilitating sex tourism. Just go to, how do you call it? What's the name of these clubs? You know them. Go to Rios. Secret Lodge. Call them out. Where? Onyx. Onyx. LP, MV. Propaganda. So already in less than 1 minute, you are able to give me at least 10 clubs. Yes, 10 clubs. Different from what we call the bars and restaurants. Different from the motels. So that's it here. That also to facilitate bars within the terrorism development area are off limit of children. Right, for children, there are also bar, restaurant, nightclubs in the area. The neighboring TVA facilitate prostitute and prostitution. Private houses are more and more used for sex tourism. Private houses. There is no more in the hotels. That's why when you look at the scope, our TVA area is what portion of the Gambia? Very small portion. So when we talk about the issue of these people understanding some of these strict measures being put within the hotels, what do? They go into the rural Gambia. You go to Upcast, it's free. You know Upcast where? You go all the way to Jalasoma, you have all these hotels, you have all these motels there. What happens? You know, one thing that these people looked at, do you know it? The pedophilia, you know what they looked at? What do they have in common? You know what are they? They are opportunists. They look for opportunities. If I come here, the opportunity here is very limited. And I come to Baka, I know the Baka, the opportunity is very open. I go to Baka. Even I'm also as a doctor, it's almost upstairs, boys, we all know. Sierra Church, we know them. No, no, so they check back on you boy. I'm not telling you. And also, you see the way we discuss internally. That's the same way they also discuss, right, us externally. So the internet, right? The internet. So when you look at one of the things you said, well, the internet is becoming more important for building relationship between Gambians and success stories. This is true. It is true. I saw a platform that is having about 4-point-something million members, and Gambians are part and parcel of that website. You see it soon, right? Thousands of profiles are created by Gambian women on several dating sites, also by minors. Dating site. You know what is dating site? Yes. You go there, you put your beautiful profile picture. Unfortunately, some of you don't put your even profile picture. You go and Instagram show one picture and put it there and say you are the one. And you look for what? They will ask you what do you want to look for. You do what?
You use Photolab nowadays.
Photolab is the one that makes your picture beautiful. Aha, you know it all. So quickly, you see the date side. You see the date side. One of the date side, www.africintroduction.com. More than 1,000 Gambians make a profile and are looking for a date. So quickly. You see this date, right? What is here? What is the number? 4.5 million members on our date site. This is towards the population of Gambia. Are you seeing it? Yeah. Right? And they are what? International African dating trusted by over 4.5 million singles. Problem in town, huh?
Some of them are single, like and they're married.
You saw some of them who are in this problem and they are married.
Yes, I saw some people paying an account just for this.
Yes. So you see, just click, just go to www.africintroduction.com. You see them. And you can even click, if you want, you can say, you are looking for Gambians. It will give you. So things are happening there. So now we have looked at the issues, right? We have talked about the issues now. You know who is a tourist. You know where they can exploit the student. We all know. Hello? Let me ask this question. I want you to be very frank with me. Do you believe that children are sexually being exploited by visitors in this country? Yes. Do you believe?
Yes.
Good. So if you believe, what do you think you're supposed to do?
Eradicate it.
How do we eradicate it? How do we stop it?
By sensitizing people.
By sensitizing people. And what else do you need to do? I want to hear from you before we go to the final part of my presentation. Law enforcement. So before you talk about law enforcement, what do you need to have first? You need to have the law. You need to have the legal framework. So quickly, I'm going to take you to few. Well, these are some of the things they also use. Sponsorship, You have people that are in what? They are called what? So-called philanthropists. They come here, what do? They create small orphanages and they have all these young guys here, they sexually exploit them. And for me, please don't only concentrate on girls. These people, when they come, they are sick. They sexually exploit both boys and girls. They say, that's called Dara. Gambia feel around it. Gori ñoo ñoo ci boss ñu def xalé gori dara su ko tuma ko xamné c'est la poste bu ñew. Right? So let's quickly look at this. Let's have a glance of the law. We have a lot of laws. We have the trafficking passing law 2007. we have the Children Act of 2005, we have the Tourism Act of 2003. But I only select two, because for the sake of time, I only select two that we are going to look at. Right? So by definition in the Gambia, by legal definition, I am not telling you by religious definition. By legal definition in the Gambia, who is a child? Loi bi su fana loi kay moy halal. Huh? 0 to 18. 0 to 17. So, okay, how many of you believe is 0 to 17? How many of you believe the legal definition of a child is 0 to 17? Only one. How many of you believe the legal definition of a child in the Gambia is 0 to 18? Sima, you see these people? They are looking for my trouble. Now I'm asking now again. If you don't participate, you pay our bread, you pay our water, you pay our drink. And the chairs that you are seated on, you pay. How many of you believe a child is defined as 0 to 17? How many of you? How many of you believe a child by legal definition is 0 to 18? Okay. So it's my responsibility to inform you, not so, that the legal definition of a child in this country is any person below the age of 18, 0 to 18. Do you understand? Are you understanding?
Yes.
So then the watan tay ñu gëna am solo ci watan bi bu su waye nit ñi la waye sa watan bi nga xalé kan moy xalé mo lo tondu lolu dañu na xari de so xalé moy kan moy ku nga xamné atam dem na be fuka jom ñeta ñew ci suuf so man so waye su fana bo la do waxe if I talk, I only talk for people below the age of 18. So that's right. So the legal definition of a child is what? A child is a person in the act is defined as what? Any person below the age of 18. And again, when you look at the Children Act, we go to part 2 of the Children Act, it has defined a child exactly at the same a person below the age of 18. So the legal definition of a child in this country is any person below the age of 18. So all the presentation, all the session that I'm going to present on, anything I say is referring to that particular person. Sorry. So when you look at section 29 of the Children Act, section 29 of the Children Act says what? A person who has custody, a charge or what? Charge or care of a child, and shall or incur the sedition, sexual assault or prostitution of a child, commission of an indecent assault on the child. That no person, whether you are the biological parent, whether you are the custodian, whether you are the auntie, whether you are the custodian of that particular child, shall not encourage any form of what we call what? Seduction, sexual assault or prostitution, or commission of indecent assault. You know what is sedition? To seduce someone, right? Well, I don't know how you should not do it. So also we have what we call indecent assault, right? Indecent assault could be what? You could do things that are compromised what with the integrity or the dignity of a person sexually. Again, subsection 2 of 29 tells us that a person who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offense and is liable to conviction to an imprisonment for 10 years. For 10 years. Ndajel halal mu fe sa cër bi. Halal mu ndaw mu fe sa cër bi. You have committed an offense. Ndajel sa baram. What is your understanding when we talk about sexual intercourse as per the legal definition? Because sexual intercourse needs to be understood, because if you don't understand that, you cannot understand what is rape. What is sexual intercourse on your understanding? Yes.
I believe it is the penetration of the be it the female or male genitals using any part of the body. It could be the penis to vagina intercourse or bigger intercourse.
So now tell me part more one. Wow. Tell them here.
Sexual intercourse literally means penetration. Penetration be the vaginal penis intersection or finger penetration or anything else.
Good. So when you look at the Sexual Offence Act of the Gambia, has defined sexual intercourse as she rightly said. That sexual intercourse does not necessarily have to be through the penis and the vagina, no. They said if you use the penis and whatever genital area and you insert, whether you take your genital and put it in my mouth or you put it in the anus of the person, you have committed sexual intercourse. And again, the law is telling you the slightest degree of penetration is what is sexual intercourse. Now that's why when you look at it, the issue of rape, sometimes you go to the police, the case is being compromised. Because sometimes when you have a case of rape, what happens? They go, the first thing you jump on the end of you send the fire. No. The mere fact that this particular person has inserted his thumb, finger, through any part of the genital of that particular person has committed rape. If I take my mouth, my tongue, and lick it, I have raped that particular person. Are you understanding? So sorry, let me say this. I have my responsibility that when I talk to you, I state the facts as they are, so that I don't give you half-baked information. So mine is not that I'm rude, right? But I want to discuss frankly with you. That's why I'm getting them as they are. Right. So the third one says what? Section 29(3), subsection 3 of the Act says what? A person is deemed to have caused or encouraged. Listen, this is what they define. To encourage a sedition or sexual assault or prostitution or commission of an assault on a child if the person knowingly allows a child to consult with or to enter or to continue in employment or prostitute or any person of an immoral character. So you have it back in your compound, and maybe you are one of those lazy parents like me. I don't want to struggle anymore. I said that I have my learning is there. I know obviously the moral character of this particular person that my child is dealing with is obviously questionable, and I make no effort. I have committed an omission. And if the law has found, that's why when you look at the law, they have what they call negligence. That you knowing this is happening and you fail to take up your responsibility, by law you have committed an offense. And none of you can escape that. You are either a brother, alright? You are either someone who is within the same environment, because the law is very clear. You go to the Children Act of the Gambia. You go to section 67 of the Children Act of the Gambia. It has placed emphasis that every member of the public, and who are the members of the public? Us, that you have an obligation, legal obligation, not moral obligation, legal obligation to report where you suspect or where you know. So this is how we have to do. It's your responsibility to inform, to report. Well, one thing is that is unfortunate in our community. They will know it will happen one day. They make no effort. The law is telling you, if you know that you know about it and you fail to do something about it, the law is able to prosecute you. Again, the law is making very simple. The law also to make it categorically clear. You go to section 75 of the Act again. What is this one? The Act says when it comes to reporting matters, you as a person, you have every legal right to go to the police station and say, "Man, learning Fatima, my boy, you have over because my tour, they got a case with DJ." Because I am a man. The law is telling you, the police have that legal obligation on you to protect and to make sure that you shall never be called throughout the process. And your testimony or your statement shall be classified as confidential. So the law is telling you, you have to report. Equally also too, you might also find yourself in this. Section 31 talks about what? A person shall, right? No person shall procure a child to. You know what is procurement of a child? How do you procure a child? What do you procure? You procure services, huh? Services in what? Now, I told you about Kololi. How many of you go to Kololi around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock? Or do I take you for a tour this evening? Do you go for a tour this evening? Unfortunately, even the position is illegal in the Gambia, but it is highly practiced, right? And most of these young girls, honestly, if you should ask them ID card, they don't have. If you ask for their age, it's not up to 18. So the law is telling you, you shall have a sexual intercourse with any person or person, either in the Gambia or any site outside of the Gambia. By law, me now in fact as a Gambian, if I travel to another country, I expect children sexually. I come back, if the Lord realizes that I have done so, they should prosecute me in the Gambia. That's what the Lord is saying. Outside or in the Gambia. Become a common prostitute either in the Gambia or any place outside the Gambia. If I go to Jarasoma, get my nephews, bring them here, and my nieces, bring them here, and put them into prostitution, I have committed a crime. If I equally take them here and take them to Serekunda or Karan to prostitution, I have committed a crime in both sides. Leave the Gambia with intent that he or she should become a prostitute in any side of the country. The moment your intention is to put that particular person into prostitution, it's very clear it's trafficking. It's trafficking, huh? And the trafficking law might be able to take it cause against you. Leave his or her usual place of or abode in the Gambia with the intent of he or me see engage in prostitution in either part of the Gambia. You leave Bakau, you go to Basse for prostitution, you have committed an omission. A person who contravenes in subsection 1 commits an offense and is liable to conviction to imprisonment of for 10 years. So the laws are there. It's not that we don't have the laws, we have the laws. The children are followed goes again and said, and this is very common in the tourism industry, especially with the bombers, with the middlemen, with the pimp, huh? Even sometimes among yourselves. Madam, don't you link your boyfriend when you have a boyfriend? Your boyfriend friend once you have your friend. Who do the linking? Can you go there? Are you going to boy? Huh? So what do you do? Not so. Alright. But this one is saying what? It says no person. Alright. Okay. This one says what? No person shall organize, no person shall organize, promote, encourage foreign travel with promote prostitution. Should promote. I don't know what do you mean by promote. If I simply go to my Facebook or I create a how do I call it? When you create, is it website? No, not website. When you create a page. Account. If I create an account and I know that I have a partner who is in Senegal and the partner wants me to do recruitment here for guys to go to Senegal for prostitution, and I start putting advertisements that are not true just to get these guys and then arrange them and move them to Senegal, I have promoted and I have participated in the act. And the law is telling me what? If I am found open conviction, I am going to what? $200,000 or imprisonment not exceeding 10 years or both fine. That means what? You can pay 200,000 and you go scot free for fining, but you can equally pay 200,000 and still now you go for a sentence will not beyond 10 years. On that note, can we all stand up? Can we all stand up? Okay. You know, our nature is two things. If we fail to have our breakfast on time, we become very lazy, not so. And the irony is sometimes when we are well fed, we become sleepy, and no one sleeps here. Huh? So you will do as I say and do, huh? As I say and do. Alright. So let's go. I sit. You all sit comfortably. I stand. I'm watching. I sit. I stand. I hit. I sit. I stand. I head. I sit. I stand. I sit. All right. Thank you. So much. All right. So these are just few of the sections I have extracted from the Children Act. Now I'm going to also look at a few provisions in the Tourism Offence Act. Right, and then that should be the final part. So let's look at what the Tourism Offence Act says. You look at section 5 of the Tourism Offence Act says what? Tourist or any person who made an unlawful sexual advance towards a child can be imprisoned for 2 years or fined 20,000. On illegal means. For example, she's a child. Right? And I made some sexual advances. And sexual advances could be what? I could draw her, or I can take the breast. I can uncompromising situation. The law, by the law, I have committed an offense, and I could go for 2 years imprisonment or pay 20,000. Right? A tourist who sexually abuses a child can be imprisoned for. Again, I want to make this very clear, and that's why when I said when you look at our laws, there is what we call inconsistency in terms of interpretation. Because the law is telling you, when you go to the Sexual Offence Act, it has what we call rape. And rape says what? If you sleep with any person below the age of 16 below, you have committed rape. Are you getting me? The law, the Sexual Offence Act is telling us that if you sleep with a person below the age of 15 downwards, you have committed rape. But equally also rape could also expand to 18 years, depending on the circumstances. But as per the law also, it has what we call indefilement. Indefilement means what? If you have a sexual relationship with a person who is 16 and 17, they can charge you for indefilement. But again, when you look at the definition of rape, it's into what we call 3 categories, depending on the circumstances. That if you sleep with a person, especially those sentences that attract life imprisonment, that you could go for life imprisonment automatically, is when you have a sexual intercourse with a person below the age of 13. It's life imprisonment, without doubt. When you have a sexual intercourse of a person and it has resulted to mental health issues, has destroyed the health of the particular person, it's life imprisonment. When if you are the father, you are the brother-in-law, you are whatever it may be in-law, because the person is under your custody, if you sleep with that person, regardless of the age between 18, you have committed rape tantamount to life imprisonment. Do you understand? You might also have, depending on the circumstances, you might have where you could be found upon conviction, you go for 11 years imprisonment, but the other one you can go for 20 years imprisonment. But rape generally is classified as what? Capital offense. Do you understand? You don't understand? Section 6 says what? A child cannot agree to give his or her
Consent.
why? Why?
Because
He's on the.
this is mentally.
Okay. It's not mentally.
It's too young to
Yeah,
understand.
mentally, to make any decision. Mentally.
Okay, because they are not mentally, psychologically, psychosocially, whatsoever, physically fit. And because of those element qualifications, that's why we what? We protect them till they are 18. So therefore, as per the law of the Gambia, a child cannot give consent to sex. And sometimes it's unfortunate that these young guys will be in a relationship, lively in a relationship. You take them to the police, you take them out to the police, they will tell you, Man Mako Buganya Kamule. And sometimes the parent will tell you, she said or he said he wants to. The law is telling you this child cannot consent to any marriage arrangement, any sexual arrangement, any other thing. A person who sleeps with that particular person, you have committed rape. And you know sometimes the way you work. When the element of sex comes into play, we want to see the one with the stiffer punishment. We go for the sexual offense. You might go for what? Life imprisonment. Officer, it's not even long ago. Fajara here, there was a shopkeeper here. The shopkeeper, anytime this young girl goes there, the shopkeeper will take this young girl and will use the finger to play with the young girl. When the father gets to know about it, the man is in prison, and the person can go for life imprisonment. What would reward you? What sexual satisfaction would you have your finger to go to life imprisonment? Right? So he said a tourist or any person who, and you always see the definition, huh? The definition is not only specific to tourists, huh? He said, or any person, including you and myself, all of us. Right? A tourist or any person who gets to find a child so that he or she. Are you getting the words? Can I get you the words for you? Who gets? Who gets? Or find a child so that he or she can sexually be abused by another person, or that the child can be used as prostitute, can be in prison for 14 years. If me, I facilitated Baba engagement with this young girl, if Baba is arrested for rape, the law is telling you I can equally be arrested for rape. You know, this one is telling you 14 years. The Sexual Offence Act is telling you you have equally committed an offense equally as the perpetrator. That's what the law is saying. If your parents tell you Kiwana Latuba, and some of what happens. A child might go to an environment and the child wouldn't want to, the child will go from that environment before the child. So what do they now arrange? Killing you don't get him. So what happened? Why is that on page because I'm is giving the house now? Do that. Not the The law is telling you the moment investigation have realized that you are the very person who encouraged this young guy to go there. If that person is going for life imprisonment, the law says you are equally going for life imprisonment. Section 7 talks about what? A tourist or any person who talk about this, right? If you take the service of a person for sexual intercourse, or a person who is on prostitution, or an inmate in a brothel or elsewhere commit an offense and is liable imprisonment of what? Not less more than 10 years imprisonment. So for me, maybe I drive my good car because you say tourist or any person, and I go to Kololi and I stopped. and I pick a young girl who is on the street for prostitution, you know, I'm not forcing her, right? I can go and have sexual intercourse with that person and pay her. She wouldn't even quit because that's what she is doing. But the law is telling me, the moment we caught you and that young girl into it, you have committed an offense. And depending on the age and circumstances of that particular person, you could be charged for rape. And sometimes people think that a woman who has already known men cannot be raped. I have seen a crazy report of young girls who came out to say they were raped, only for the police to look at the report and say, yes, all these girls were not virgins, so therefore they cannot be classified as being raped. Madness, huh? Your wife can be raped, huh? You can even rape your wife. Yeah, so don't say, and it's not an excuse in the art of the law, because it also happened. Some of you in the communities, hello? Some of you in the communities, you might fail to act or to report the story that comes to your community because simply you are seeing Fatoumatta, you are going to be kicked out. So for Fatou, no matter what the do happen to do to Fatou go rape. Some of you, even when Fatou come and said that what they do say young man and I are silly. Why? And some of you, unfortunately, you will say, but this is a person who is reporting that I'm raped. But you look at the behavior of the person, you said, okay, you are so that's your responsibility is to report when such incident happens. Yes.
But I think also the authorities also are responsible. Nonetheless, we have seen instances that people do go and report cases.
Yes.
But the authorities will not act, and that will deter people from reporting other cases. But the authorities.
So the issue of the authority not acting, is the contrary. It's either action is act. If I fail to do anything, I have acted not saying anything. But unfortunately, and I will say this, that is not that they are not acting. They are acting in a way whereby they monetize. You know what is monetize?
Right.
My friend, just go to a police station with a tubab and report the tubab. Just allow them to say, how you see this? It's accountable. And let them go out inside with the tubab and come out. When they come out, the narrative is changed. Right? You know what they're doing? No, come on. I have to talk about right case here. You want me to go to right case? For example, let me get to the right case. You know what happened to the right case? You remember I talked about the right case? You know what happened? When this particular person was arrested, 31st December 2022, arrested, taken to the police station. I called the police officers. Statement taken. You know what happened? Case compromise. When the case is compromised, you know what happened? I reversed how many of you read Maligan? Maligan is an online platform. They publicize the story. When I engage further, even how could a police officer tell you the medical report we have obtained says this child has not been penetrated? On the contrary, the doctor is telling you they have never collected the medical certificate from us. How would they know? Contrary again, the police officer said to you, Mr. Fadi, when the Nibulo is sitting here. How are you able to sitting here? He came to the police station, he was given $2,500. He was given $2,500. I know what happened? That was the end of the case. The case never found its way to the court. The family were all threatening. If the police officer threatening the family not to talk to a journalist, what is happening? Yes. I know the police officers, I know them. So then what happened? Hello? Alright. So that's why when you look at I was with a child welfare officer and I said to him, the only person that goes to court and prosecute and find his way to my you know what happened? the person cannot pay the bills. You know what they do? Because rape is a life imprisonment. I rape someone, you come to the police. How would the police officer tell you, our case is call what time? And this happened in Sibanor. This is less than 2 months. Huh? A child of 9 years of age has been multiply raped by a boy in the neighborhood. The man was arrested in Sibanor. Case file, everything prepared. Medical certificate has shown that this young guy has been multiple of times has been raped by this same girl. Murdered by this man. Murder taken to the Brikama court for prosecution. Along the line, you know what I received when I called? That the police has encouraged this mother to go and prepare an affidavit of withdrawal of a case. That is of a criminal nature. Right? That is of a criminal nature. You know what I did? I only called an AIG, one of the Assistant Inspector General of Police. And I said to Mr. Ba, I'm coming to your office. I went to his office. And I said, this particular case, the day and everything, I want you to engage this officer, give me feedback as to what is happening. They did the investigation. He went back and he called me with the same commissioner who is responsible for prosecution. And the person started, and I said to him, you know what? You are not dealing with assumption. You are not dealing with civil matter. You are dealing with legal issues. This is a criminal matter. Why would you grant the issue for police cannot even grant a rapist bail? It's not in the law. A rapist can only be granted bail by the court, pending on the gravity of the crime. So I told him that I have learned that this guy is actually about his way of going out to Bagwe. If this guy leaves this country, we will take it up with the state, and we go to court with the state for the state failing to protect a girl to prosecute an alleged rapist. It's a case in our hand. So all these things happen, but also we need to change the narrative. And that's why this engagement, when you look at this is how many, you have how many times here? 3. Matters come to CPA, matters come to other organization, because we are not government. Government is not paying our salary. So we can tell government what they're supposed to do or what they are not doing now. Yes.
Just to follow up with it's so interesting, right? What was the reason given to prepare for the role of
Good. Their interest is, you know that you are going life imprisonment when this case is pursued. And I say to you, Baba, you either have to pay this amount of money or we take this matter to the court. You are going to pay 40,000, that's the deal. I go to the family and said, this is a community that we know each other, you know, and everybody. Can you actually accept, forgive him because he's satanic and all that? The moment the family have accepted to forgive, we are not having any more. Because somebody coming to say, because the family have accepted. Now you compromise that issue, you take your money, the property is gone, the child suffers for the rest of her life. And that's why sometimes, when you are talking about some of these things, put the fear aside, put the politics aside, look at an individual life. Some of us in this room, we have gone through abuses. I have gone through abuse, and up to now, if I look at myself, I feel like I only wish I could see this man, I would break his neck. I remember my mother has been in the garden for all her life, if you know my mother. There was a compound in Kajikali. That's the window. That's the window as a child. I stand here, this man would stand at the window, I would put his penis in my mouth. And he has been doing that. And how many go through that? Some of us, our own uncles will rape you. So is that fair to the person?
There was a case, a very shocking case in Ghana.
Yeah.
The man have been doing that for 9 months. Putting this back. Feeding the amount of the baby. Until there was 2 months of oxygen in the body. I think 3 years back.
Yeah. Right. So some of that's why when you look at some of the people, including myself, including those who work around this area, you realize that psychologically, mentally, you are not stable. It's not because of you don't have everything. You might have everything you need, but because of your job, is so stressful. How many of you have seen a video? Have you seen the video of an old man granny, having a small baby, less than 5 years, on a video, having kids? Things are happening in this country. So when we talk, we just move. Yes, yes.
I want you to elaborate more on
One at a time.
Okay, I want you to elaborate more on this rape issue, because our understanding here, according to Constitution,
Yes.
anything unwanted, any sex unwanted is rape, being a virgin or not. So I want you to elaborate more on that, because you said if you are not a virgin and you have sex, it's not rape. But to our understanding and to Constitution, anything unwanted is sex, is rape.
I hope you understand my statement. I said, I have seen a police report.
No, before that, you were explaining, then you said, okay, that was the point.
Yes.
No, before the
Okay, let me clear the point. Okay.
16-year-old girl is not a virgin, said that she's been raped.
No, that was the police report. That was the yeah, that was the police report. Okay, so let me make a simple definition of rape, right? And I will put it in two contexts. Rape is any unconsented sexual advances, unconsented, right? But what about that of a girl below the age of 18? Does consent matter? No. So consent, in the absence of consent, you forcefully find yourself with a woman, you have committed rape, you rape her. But the child of 18 coming down cannot give consent. If a child comes to your bedroom in the morning and you take me and you jam your knee, early morning and the thing is up, and the guy comes make a minute of go, so you have committed an offense. And it's not an argument in court to say, I presume she was 18 and above. The law will not take that. Yes.
I just wanted to help us.
Yes.
I think you don't understand the definitions of rape. That is why it has different values. Like, for example, those of us who are in the media or realize that that will be values.
Yes.
That is why somebody will charge with rape and then sentence for 9 years. So the charge with rape and the sentence for years.
Yeah.
So the consent is very simple. When you sleep with anybody, you can't be consent. It's rape.
Yes.
But when you are below 18, it means you can't give consent.
Consent,
That's
yes.
what the law says.
Thank you.
It doesn't actually mean that if you are below 18, you don't have the sense of reasoning. But the law is saying that you don't have the consent to agree to anything.
Good.
That is what.
Good. Good. And that's why when you look at one of these offenses. Yeah.
If somebody sleeps in this story,
it's rape. So the issue is, that's why when you look at the in terms of consent, in terms of reasoning. Hello? That's why when sometimes you have a case that goes to the police, you go there and say it's rape, but the police might charge the person for in defilement. In defilement mean was 16 and 17, because the law is being considered here to say whatever this particular person might have a reasonable judgment to accept, but the law is saying you cannot accept. So when they look at that also too, because the law also is trying to be fair in a way that it is not too subjective. That because they think that this person is reasonable, could give consent, could able to do it, but nonetheless the law cannot. But based on certain factors, they can charge you for indefilement. And indefilement will tell you what? You cannot you can be imprisonment not exceeding 7 years without also a fine. 2018, someone came to my office to give a complaint of a court ruling, a judgment. And I said, what's the judgment? He said, this particular person has been taken to court and he was charged for defilement. But the person was charged to pay 10,000 payable in 1 year. When you go to the law, when you go to the Sexual Offence Act, it's telling you that there is no option of a fine. The only thing the judge could have done is to ensure that he has a discretion to put the person 2 months, 3 months, but not exceeding 7 years. So as per the judgment, the judge has erred in judgment. that is not an option of a fine, but a mandatory sentencing. When I further engaged, you know what happened? The prosecutor that was prosecuting this case is a relation to this accused person. Have already talked to the judge to reasonably put a judgment. And you know what I did with the case file? I collected the judgment. I went to the Ministry of Justice and I put it on Bafo James Plex and said, Bafo, I want the state to appeal this case because this case, the judgment is wrong. It's not in accordance with the laws. And this is what we need to do. Right? So shall I finish?
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Fati, about the race issue.
Yes.
Do you think dressing matters? Because normally, this when we start talking about this street break,
Yes.
they'll be like, okay, you've never seen the covered ones being raped,
Yes.
but the uncovered ones, like the
Are the one raped.
are the ones that are always being raped.
Yes.
So normally people debate about that, and then there are bound to be like judgment to the people that are not.
All right. So quickly, right? When you look at the issue of human rights, everything that we are discussing is about your right. Not so. And we all believe that rights are into three classifications. Three classifications. Do you know the classification of rights? You have natural rights that God gives each and every one of us. And these natural rights are what? They are your basic needs. Huh? Now let me just put it in the best most context. It's your basic needs. And you know what are your basic needs? What is your basic needs? Basic needs. Okay, I think grade 4, huh? Grade 4, those who have social studies. You have made a distinction between wants and needs. Yes, what's the difference between wants and needs? Without which? So basically, that's the simple context. That all these rights that we are talking about are nothing other than what you cannot do without. And these are in the Quran, they are in the Bible. But society wants to organize itself, want to be civilized. We have what we call legal backing. That's why we have the codification of these rights. Give it legal mandate. That's why you have national rights codified and then you have legal rights. But equally you have what we call moral rights. Our moral rights are not the same, they are not uniform. Morally, it's okay for me to go to America, with my father in America, for example, in America context. I am here with my father, I never would tell my dad that, you are lying, I dare not, huh? But the same father, I can travel with the same father to the US, and I look at him and say, Daddy, you know what, he's been telling me lies, man, you lie a lot. Not so. Culturally in America, is that acceptable? In Ghana, is that acceptable? And again, because we have the globalization, we have the globalization shifting. Before in your craziest mind, a woman wouldn't even go out with a such scan also. But through globalization, Nigerian movie, American movies, dress code changes. Right? So if a person put a dress out and go, it's a moral obligation on her to live within the context of certain expectation of the society, of the community, the norms and the values. If that person goes against that, it does not break the law. My father cannot take me to Baka police station and said, Lamina is commanding toll. I'm not going to do a crime. My father cannot equally hold my hand and said, I said, has he committed any crime? So as he has not committed any crime, is not a reason for one to have a sexual advance on any person, a boy or a girl, a woman or a man, based on the mode of dress. You understand?
Yeah.
Because society expects you to be, you have a moral right to those things. But other than that, will not give any leverage for anybody. For example, morally, the Quran says what? Fornication is what? And if you are heard, you should be stoned 100 times or beaten 100 lashes. Go and hold me for fornication. and class me. If you beat me, you know what I will do? I'll go to the police and I will charge you for assault. And you'll be arrested. A thief broke into someone's compound, broke the windscreen, and was struggling to remove the stereo. The guy met him there and beat him severely. You know what the man did? The thief himself, you know what he did? He went to Fatoumatta police and laid a complaint. And he was very smart. You know what he said? When they went to the police, the man explained and everything. You know what he said? He said, yes, he have accepted that he's a thief. But equally also, this man did not have any right to beat him. The man has assaulted him. And the man was charged for assault. Alright, so section 11. Alright, so let's look at this. Section 11 of the Sexual Offense Act. Hello? So can you have the item? Should I close? Should I close? Alright, so let's look at section 11. Section 11 says that some of you that have properties, like houses that you are renting or houses that you are managing, that if any person, right, if a child is sexually abused in those premises, are you getting me? If your uncle is giving out rent, when you go tell your uncle to be mindful. If a child is being raped in your properties, even though you are not there, the law says what? You could go for what we call 2 years imprisonment, or you can pay 50,000 fine. Yes, I have a house in Bakau. I am in Farato. If the police get to my house in Bakau and a child was raped there, the law is telling me, you Lamin Fati, you have committed an offense by allowing someone to abuse a child in your premise, in your facility. Therefore, you are to pay 50,000 or go for 2 years imprisonment. You see the law? Huh? Why is the law what? Why the law is what? The law is telling you. Oh, time again. Alright. So the law is telling you, and in drug related charges, you know what the law says? Equally in drugs, you know what the law says? If a drug is confiscated in your premises, that particular property would be confiscated to the state. That's what the law says. Because the law is telling you, you must be able to take a reasonable care as to who do you rent your property to. That's what the law is saying. If I go to your house, if you rent your house to me, I am caught dealing with drugs. That house that I was in, by law should be confiscated to the state. That's what the state that law says. Alright, so finally, let's look at this quickly. Some of the things that might be what? Case of offense. Number one, I have already discussed this. Making sexual advance on sexual advances to a child, you know that's a crime, right? While having sex with a child, that's a crime. And who is a child? Asking or forcing a child to have sex with someone. Asking a child to have sex with someone, that is what? Is a crime against you. And who should be found wanting? The person and the person who have slept with him. Forcing a child to become a prostitute or to live a life of a prostitute. And this is happening every day. You don't care as to how this child will sell this thing. You are forcing that child to do elements to get the money to come. You are forcing the child to prostitution. Making a child to pay for perform a pornographic picture or video. The mere fact that you have in your mobile phone and the child is watching, you have committed an offense. You are exposing the child to pornography. Distributing, showing, publishing pornographic picture of children, you have committed an offense. You go to the Children Act of the Gambia, section 61 of the Children Act talks about what we call punishment for harmful publication. If you do any harmful publication and it is known, you will go for what? I think it's 5 days imprisonment and I think about 50,000 open conviction. Showing your private part or organs to a child, I have talked about this, huh? Touching, folding or kissing the private part of a child, you have committed an offense. Touching a child body or any part of the body for sexual pleasure. And some they will do it. I remember when we were going to school, the school bus. Some boys will just go so that they are behind ladies just to be having that friction, just to have sexual harassment is what? Is an abuse, it's sexual. Requesting a child to touch your body or that your sexual pleasure. Engaging you know what I also do? You know sometimes you have what they call you engage child to have sex with animal, huh? How many of you have what the porta pot? Is it porta potty or porta pot? In Libya? Dubai? Yes. If you force a person to have sex with an animal, it's what we call bestiality, right? Bestiality means what? You are forcing a child to have sexual intercourse with an animal. On that note, yes, it happened. Now it's happening. Alright. Hello? So on that note, that's the end of my presentation.
Okay, hello.